And it was just this really depressing time. And it was, the saddest, sales guys are supposed to have money, confidence.
Yeah.
We had none of that left. We'd been broken, beaten down and broken. And the dude who was kind of the head of the operation was this drunk named Bob. Bob had lost his license for a DWI, so we had to take turns driving him home. He was our boss.
Everyone had to take shifts.
Yeah. And when you have to drive and he would fall asleep because he'd drink all day at Chili's, and then he'd fall asleep on the way home in your car, and then wake up like at a stoplight to just deliver a cryptic message. Like he'd be like, and then he'd wake up and go, "We're in big trouble. I'll tell you that much. We're in big trouble." And you'd go, "What?" And then he'd go, "No, make a left at Park Avenue." And so he would just deliver these cryptic messages. This is how that company started. You want to hear how that company started? I pitched this as a show and nobody bought it. Are they fucking nuts, Sickler?
Yeah.
So here's what happened. This is how the company started. This guy, Bob, was a high-level guy and a major mortgage lender in Long Island. He's a CFO. He sees that this company is going to kind of crumble. He sees the writing on the wall. It's like, we're in trouble. We're holding on to a lot of bad debt. This thing's just going to go. It's going left. We got to get out. So he pulls his buddy. His buddy and him, instead of evacuating the business, right? This is such a Long Island fucking thing. They go, we're going to do it the right way. We have all this know-how. We're going to put together a small company. We're going to do it the right way. So they go up to this guy's house upstate, which is partially done. They're getting sauced. They're talking about the new company they're going to have. Whoever this other guy is, I don't know, falls through a second floor that's not completely done and dies.
No.
Dies.
Come on. While they're up there talking about this shit?
Correct. Instead of abandoning the project, Bob then walks around at his funeral and goes, "I just want to let you know I'm going to open the company for your father. He was a good man. He believed in tight lending standards. We're going to open this company." The underwriting, it was,
at the
company started in death.
Yeah.
It started in death. And so I worked there for about a year and a half. Very sad Christmas party. Very, very sad.
I'll bet, yeah.
Very sad.
Kids, it's like that's what we would do.
They're trying to meet women. This is a joke
Dude,
I do on the thing.
When I was 19, I used to go around with a slingshot. My boy had a slingshot. We would go and we would break bus terminal windows on Francis Lewis Boulevard, and we would just fucking shatter bus terminal windows. If I was a 19-year-old kid right now, I'd be at the protest fucking breaking windows of police precincts.
Dude,
That's
when
what
I
they
was
do.
19, I was fucking lending fucking janitors $800,000 to buy their dream home on Long Island.
And now they're dead in the streets.
So
What? Who cares?
So if I come to you right now, let's go back. You're a mortgage broker in Long Island. I meet you in a diner, which is you call your office.
The Imperial Diner in Freeport,
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, you go.
We got to make it real.
Yeah.
So it's the Imperial Diner in Freeport on Merrick Road.
Yeah, you say meet me at the office, and I hear you hang up.
We'll spill hot coffee on you by mistake and look at you and go.
Yeah. And when you tell me to meet you at your office, I hear the clang of a payphone when you hang up.
Yeah.
And so I meet you at your office. I come in. I say, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, Mr. Dillon. Me and my wife just got married. I'm a comedian. I saved up about $80K. She wants to live. We're having a baby. She wants to live on the island.
Mr. Pop, I'm very glad.
Can I get a loan?
Not only can you get a loan, but let me tell you something.
Yeah.
How much of that $80K are you prepared to spend on the property?
I don't know, Mr. Dillon. I'm a pretty conservative guy. I saved every single dollar from my more recent shows.
How much are you prepared to spend?
Hold on, let me go into Maurice's brain.
No. Of that $80,000, how much would you like to spend? Are you willing to spend all of it?
I'm willing to spend about 60 or 70 of it.
Mr. Pappas, guess how much of that 80 you're gonna have to spend?
How much?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. You're not gonna spend anything because let me explain something to you. Sit down. The wife is lovely. Would you like a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah. Can
Mr.
I get
Pappas.
Can I get pancakes while I'm here?
Yeah, you could get anything. The bricks and sticks of your house.
Yeah.
Appreciate. The frame, the land. They appreciate and value. You know what your money does in your house for you, Mr. Pappas? It does absolutely nothing. You know what the wealthiest people do with real estate, Mr. Pappas? A lot of them finance it. Why? Because your mortgage is your only tax write-off. It is the only write-off. It is your only fucking weapon against the federal government. The larger the loan you take, the better it is for you financially. And you take that $80,000 and I'm not wrong, by the way, and you put, well, I'm a little, and you put it in tax-exempt securities like Roth IRAs. Mr. Pappas, you maximize the amount of tax-exempt exempt retirement accounts that you put your money in with that $80,000. You make it work for you. You do not sink it into a house. Yes or yes? So the reality is this. We're taking the biggest loan possible. Debt, Mr. Pappas, will set you free. Now sign this piece of paper for Christ. And at that point, you and your wife are crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we sign papers, and you go die.
But how do you get the loan from the bank? They're
Well,
giving them away.
back in the day, what are we doing? We're talking about now or back in the day?
No, back in the day.
Yeah, how
Back
did
in
you
the
do
day,
it?
I go to the bank. I said, Kelly, we got one. And Kelly, I said, Mr. Pappas and his wife Brittany's from Long Island. They want to go buy a piece of marble hunk of shit. And Kelly has got Coke running down her nose from last night. She's got a fucking double tall non-fat latte from Starbucks, non-fat. She's not kidding anyone. And she nails it down and she says, she makes all the paperwork look like it should look. And then my little shitty bank, which was called Franklin First or New World Mortgage or the Mortgage Zone or the Funding Hut or whatever it is, we send our paper to a fucking even bigger and as similarly shitty bank like a Long Beach Mortgage or a New Century Mortgage or an Argent. And those banks were doing backdoor deals with JP Morgan, Citigroup. So those banks were underwriting the paper to the middle grade banks that were lending money to the dirtbag brokerage operating out of a van places that I worked. Okay?
Right.
So when this all, you ever played a game of hot potato?
Yeah, it's an orgy. Yeah.
So when everything goes wrong,
You pass it around.
we're
the buck.
passing it around. And
Yeah.
then by the time you sign your mortgage, by the time you get your first bill, because the other benefit, Mr. Pop, is you don't pay for 2 months.
Right.
For 2 months, you don't pay.
But
That's
are you
two-
sure I'm going to be able to afford this mortgage? My stand-up comedy career is up and down.
Mr. Pappas, I have watched your stuff. I think you're a genius.
Thank you.
Do you ever think that do you ever meet women that are close on like there's almost like a, because sometimes I almost wonder if at a certain point that gay and straight will almost be primitive descriptions of people.
Might be, yeah.
Like I
maybe.
know there's a lot of force stuff and like,
Yeah.
you know, and people like in this place now where they don't know or they,
Right.
you know, and people are just.
I think sex will be primitive. I think people are on so many SSRIs they can't even come, and I mean they can't get dicks hard. I mean, just
It'd be
a lot-
crazy almost.
You look at a lot of these relationships. You're like, there's no sex happening. These people just hold each other's
yeah.
hands. They softly cry. They tweet about racism.
Yeah.
They adopt a dog together. But you realize
That's a
how
lot of it.
sexual a lot of these relationships are. You're like, a lot of this is probably just people that have massive anxiety laying next to each other, having multiple panic attacks, and then someone's strong enough to go make a cup of like non-caffeinated tea.
But if you ever
Yeah.
come during a tough
Yeah.
panic attack, bro, it's almost good.
Is that the move? Yeah. Okay, is that the move?
Here's a guy, obviously, who's looking to date.
This guy looks like he's in trouble. This guy looks like he didn't answer a contact tracing call. He's infected 38 people.
Hey, Mr. Dillon, huge fan. Mr. Vaughn, longtime listener, watcher, first-time caller and communicator. Pardon my back mullet. I don't have a top mullet, but I got a little back hair
Damn,
mullet.
you got that heat coming
Anyway,
in.
I got a crazy question for Mr. Dillon. What do you think about the assassin killing himself that shot the judge's son? This Ghislaine Maxwell shit's getting a little trash.
Yeah, it's real creepy. Yeah.
So let's get into that.
Yeah.
First, let's just establish that you believe Epstein was a pedophile. No, I'm just saying, let's just establish some ground.
Who are you working for? Wait a minute, hold on. What? Yes, I will take
Okay.
a controversial stance that I believe Epstein is a pedophile.
Okay.
You heard it here.
Okay.
Oh,
and
boy.
you think Ghislaine was his runner?
Yeah, I think that's pretty well established. I
Okay.
think Miss Maxwell was involved in some lurid and inappropriate activities. But as Trump would say, I wish her well. Because that's the way rich people talk. Rich people, every now and then rich people just become rich and they forget that they have a job.
Yeah.
He forgot he was the president.
Yeah.
He was at a golf tee on Mar-a-Lago in his mind, and he said what he would have said to some CEO that was next to him. He go, yeah, I wish her well.
And today's storyteller is a return guest, first time on video. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Dillon's on.
Oh,
video,
thank you
y'all.
so much.
Thank you
you.
for coming back. Look who's at your mom's house, guys.
Yeah, I did
Dillon's
it.
in
I
your
made it. I made it to the Mecca.
Officially in the
And
studio, guys.
it's you know, how can you enjoy me without video? You know, that's translucent Irish skin blister up in real time in front of you. How could you possibly? But you hear my voice, and then you hear the tragedy of what I'll say, and then I think the physical just brings it all together to where people go,
Rounds it out.
oh yeah. Because that's what the show is, right? You want to hear sad things from sad people that make it funny. I mean, that's what the show is. It's an exercise in masochism.
It is.
And you bring people on and they talk about their horrible lives. And, and some of the people you have on are successful. And some of the people you have on are like me that are just clawing. We're still clawing,
Clawing, brother.
And it's nice to watch people look at a lot of your guests and go, will they be people that I know in 5 years, or will they be dead in the street?
We should
And
play
that's
that
what I
game.
like about, that's what this show really is. People are going, hey, I wonder if that guy will be a household name, or will they find him dead in a hotel room in Tampa? We don't know. Who
Tampa.
knows?
Who
knows?
It's definitely
It's
Florida.
just what the show is. That's what the show is. The best version of the show is, let's bring these people on. We don't know if they're going to be successful. Statistically, it's a real uphill battle. And, sometimes people are in pain all over the place, right? We know that.
Oh,
But there's also a lot of there was a lot of fun in that crack house.
I hear.
There were a lot of positive people. I mean genuinely positive.
I know you mean this, though.
Genuinely,
I know you mean
genuinely grateful and positive people. Like, there were people there that if you gave them a cigarette would act like you paid for their college. So to me, it's like, how bad can it be? Like, they were so... I just remember how happy, if you gave someone a cigarette, they would be happy. And it's like, I know people with oodles of money and fame that just can't figure out how to be happy. A part of that, or ever will be, that's I need not even say that, but I just, it's not an area that I'm not going to be kept up at night by Bay Ridge, but I'm not kept up at night by where I grew up.
Right. Where do you want to? What keeps you up at night?
Sagaponack.
Yeah. Fifth Avenue.
Park Avenue.
Yeah. Beverly Hills, is that the Bronx compared to Milton?
No, I mean Beverly Hills. Yeah, I mean in terms of taste, yes, but there's some real money over there.
Yeah.
There's some real money over there. Pollock's Path in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Keeps me up. One Hyde Park in London.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Okay.
I just like to know. I said to Ben, my producer, we were eating.
Who's on the hot seat?
Yeah, he's on the hot seat. He better figure it out.
Yeah, because homeless pimp's coming.
Pimp's coming. I'm going to take Pimp, and I'm not going to pay you, but you're going to meet Whitney Cummings. So the whole thing is, you're going to inject Botox into Whitney Cummings' ass. Here's the whole thing, and it's better than money. So the
We're gonna release this, so we got.
I don't care.
Yeah.
She doesn't care. She's a comic. Okay, she's the only comic in LA right now not in jail. R.I.P. Here's the point. This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it really is like a different world from where it was then. So I was kind of
even if you were out and comfortable and everything
Yeah.
back then, it's still a different world in these last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, 100%. So I would meet people, but I wasn't like introducing anyone to my parents. And then I came out at 25.
To your parents
To
as
my
well?
parents, yeah.
Okay.
My mom was like, "Oh, I want grandchildren," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's what you need." I'm like, back in the cage, and then, and
Oh, my God.
and then my dad, typical boomer, was like, "Just make sure you take time to golf, son," or something.
So he just dropped that in.
Yeah, as long as he just didn't have to work more hours, I don't think it bothered him. I think if kids are doing it when they're little, that might be an issue because they don't know yet.
Right.
Yeah, if you're
Who
a
they
certain
are.
age.
But
I think if you're a parent and you're going to allow your 8-year-old to get a sex change,
Problem.
you have to get it too.
That's a
That's
problem.
just what I would say. You also have to
I
get
agree.
it. Then.
Yeah, I mean.
And by the way,
You all three.
And
you
by the
gotta get
way, they will. Don't make that the standard because they will.
they'll get it because that's how psychotic.
Yeah,
they are.
because they'll be the
mean,
most popular mom and daughter
I want to
team
support.
in Portland.
Yeah, I want to support everything my little daughter is going to do, but I have to admit that will be a little complicated and challenging a little bit if she starts saying, "Stop calling me Gianna. From now on, I'm G Dog.
yeah.
Call me G."
I'm
Because
Giannis.
they always start with an acronym.
Is that
It's
what
like when they
is
switch.
that, are you going to name her? What are you going to name her?
I'm going to name her Gianna. Her name's
Gianna.
Gianna. Yeah,
Very
her name
pretty.
is Gianna. Yeah. And
I hope she becomes G-Dog.
yeah.
I hope she starts.
That'd be great.
She
Imagine
said,
that she's
refer
the
to me
new
as
cheese on the
G-Dog.
podcast.
She's gonna have a great life. I'm gonna invite you guys up to the compound, right? She's gonna sit on Uncle Timmy's lap. Uncle Timmy's gonna tell her about the ways of mortgaging in the world.
Yeah.
Dude, the first time he ever met my daughter, he tried to sell her a pool.
Yeah.
As
Swear to
soon as he
God,
walked in, he was like, I got a beautiful in-ground
Well,
pool.
I told her, I said, your father's making a little coin, but let's be honest, you got to start getting proactive with him. And let's start, you know, if you want to call me to few his bank account numbers, let's do some experiments and we'll make him happy.
Yeah, my daughter's
We'll
sitting
just
there
make him money.
My daughter's sitting there with Elsie and Anna dolls like that. It was great.
By the way, it was either that or talk to, who was at that
Fucking
party?
Chris Farley's brother.
Yeah, I was like, let's move on. I like Kevin Farley, very
No,
sweet
I
guy.
like Kevin Farley.
We love you, Kevin Kinnick.
Yes,
Yeah, he's not watching this. Kevin.
Yeah, I hope not. He might be.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
really?
so many rats there now. Everyone's always
What's
like,
he doing instead? A movie? The point.